Namaha, namaste. I am Vasanthi and I am a prenatal yoga teacher, and I wanted to share some thoughts on what is taking place within the body when we are expecting through the body in terms of heat and the temperature. No, you're not crazy. You are warmer, you are getting hotter, and it is uncomfortable. The baby itself is producing its own heat within the womb, and so that impacts you from inside. And during the pregnancy, we know that the hormones are there to support all the system. At the same time, the hormones also start to elevate our temperature, and it is natural and normal, yet it can also be uncomfortable. Even by the 34th week, did you know that your blood volume has increased by 50% for you and baby? And so what's happening is the heart has to also pump faster to increase this blood volume of 50%. So your heart is actually even pumping at a 20% faster rate by week 8, which is pretty incredible. And the blood vessels have to actually expand to make availability for this volume to increase to support you and support the nourishing baby. With the hormones, the increase in blood volume, the heart rate being up, it's natural that the body is going to have a temperature increase, and it's a temperature increase inside and outward. So even the blood vessels along the skin get to be impacted, and therefore even you're warm to touch. And sometimes you hear that pregnancy glow, and that can actually also be the temperature heat within our body. Think of yourself as having your own thermometer, or heater, not thermometer, a heater, an internal heater, not just with your own body with hormones and heart rate, but also the internal heater within the womb with baby releasing heat energy inside you. So with that said, what can we do to help cool us down? Not only cool the body, but when the mind gets agitated and we get frustrated, what can we do to calm the mind and cool the body? Yoga has a wonderful practice of restoring energy and calm, and there's a breath called Shitali, and Shitali, Shit means cold or frigid, and Shitali is a practice of breath work that involves using the mouth. And so what is amazing is this breath work helps to cool the mind, to calm the mind, and think of it as that which is calm and soothing. So in order to do Shitali, what we want to do is curl the tongue outward like a straw and then sip lightly through that. And then at the end of the inhale, you close the mouth, place the top of the tongue at the top of the upper palate. So the bottom of the tongue gently touches the upper palate. I am not someone who can curl my tongue, so I'm going to show you really quick what that looks like so that you can try that. You see how she curled her tongue into a tube like a straw, and then draws the breath lightly in, and then at the end of the inhale, you close the mouth, place the bottom of the tongue at the top of the upper palate, and exhale out the nostrils. So if you can curl your tongue, you're going to do this position. And if you're like me and you can't curl the tongue that way, mine just folds back, what you're going to do is Shitkari. Shitkari is a breath work, same benefit, same cooling, right? And Shitkari refers to this hissing sound. So what you're going to do if you are unable to curl like a straw is you're going to take the tongue, fold it back, and touch the upper palate, and you're going to let the upper teeth gently rest on the lower teeth. And then you're going to sip, so the lips will stay open and pursed, and you're going to draw the air just as you did with the straw. Like you're going to draw the air through the teeth, and it's going to produce a hissing sound. And on the exhale, you're going to close the mouth, keep the bottom of the tongue touching the upper palate just as you did with Shitali, and exhale out the nostrils. So I know that sounds pretty complicated. I'm going to guide first Shitali and you practice, and then I'll guide Shitkari and you practice. So let's begin. Find a comfortable seated posture. Perhaps in a chair, if you're on the floor, taking some bolster or pillows, something to elevate, and finding that comfortable posture. Take a moment first to allow the eyes to settle, perhaps downward, resting on a precise spot, or allowing the eyes to close. And take a moment to connect to the breath. And in the first one, Shitali, you're going to curl your tongue into a tube like a straw. Inhale, draw the breath lightly in. At the end of the inhale, close, curl the tongue so the bottom of the tongue touches the top of the upper palate. Exhale through the nostrils. Open the mouth, curl your tongue into a tube like a straw. Inhale, draw the breath in lightly. At the end of the inhale, close the mouth, place the bottom of the tongue at the top of the upper palate. Exhale through the nostrils. Inhale, curl your tongue into that tube. End of the inhale, close the mouth. Let the bottom of the tongue curl to touch the top of the palate. Exhale through the nostrils. Inhale, curl the tongue like a straw. Draw the air slightly in, feel that cooling effect. End of the inhale, close the lips, curl the tongue back so bottom of the tongue touches the top of the palate. Exhale through the nostrils. Inhale through that straw. Seal the mouth. Bottom of the tongue touches upper palate. Exhale through the nostrils. Inhale. Seal the lips, curl the tongue, upper palate. Exhale. One more final one. Inhale through that straw. Close the mouth. Curl the tongue to touch the upper palate. Exhale through the nostrils. Allow the breath to release that breath and observe. How do you feel? Do a little check-in internally. Was the mind centered and focused? Do you have a cooling effect, a calming effect? Remembering Shitali is that which calms and soothes. Soothes the agitated mind, calms and soothes this body, the temperature. Wonderful. So let's try the other breath, and you can do both. But if you're someone who can't curl the tongue, this is the one that you're going to use. And reminding you, it's called shitkari, which means producing a hissing or sipping kind of sound. So in this one, just as you did in the other one at the exhale, you're going to curl the tongue back, place it at the top of the upper palate, behind the teeth, lightly on the gums. You're going to let the lips stay apart and the upper teeth rest on the lower teeth. And then you're going to, just as before, draw air slightly through. Close the mouth. Keep the tongue curled at the upper palate. Exhale through the nostrils. So making that hissing sound, again, curl the tongue back, rest it on the upper palate. Let the lips separate. Let the upper teeth gently rest on the lower teeth. Sip in, making that hissing sound, sip in the air through the teeth. Seal the lips. Exhale, nostrils. Again, open the lips, curl the tongue back, keeping it curled. Sip through the teeth. Close. Exhale through the nostrils, keeping that tongue curled at the back of the upper palate. I'm going to continue guiding you, continue practicing. Again, lips separate, upper teeth rest on lower teeth. Bottom of the tongue is resting on the upper palate. Inhale through the teeth lightly, hearing that hissing, sipping sound. Keep the tongue curled on upper palate, close the lips. Exhale through the nostrils. Open the lips. Inhale with that tongue curled back on upper palate. Inhale through the teeth. Hear that sipping, hissing sound. Seal the lips. Keep the tongue pressing on the upper palate. Exhale through the nostrils. Inhale. Exhale through the nostrils. Inhale, lips separate. Curl the tongue back. Sip through the teeth. Seal the lips. Keeping the tongue curled back, exhale through the nostrils. A few more cycles. Inhale through the teeth. Exhale through the nostrils, remembering to keep that tongue curled back. Let this be your final one. Inhale. And exhale. Let the breath return to its normal rhythm and observe. Rest the hands on the belly. And observe how you feel inside. Welcoming that cooling feeling that you experience through the straw-like tongue for Shitali, or through the teeth with the hissing sound for Shitkari. And send that cooling, calming, and soothing not only for yourself, but to baby. Bringing hands in front of heart space. I invite you to practice that. Welcome that practice, perhaps for a few cycles of breath when your mind is agitated or when you feel overheated. Think of it just like having that fan that we have often in summer blowing at us. This is a way for your body to naturally utilize breath and the energy, because prana, that energy going through us, the most tangible way for us to connect to prana and that vital energy is through the experience of breath. Allowing that vital energy and this cooling breath and that feeling of that cool moisture entering in through the mouth, through the straw tongue, or through the teeth and the hissing sound. Welcoming that cooling, that moisture, and knowing that as you practice that and you seal the lips, and in both of them, that tongue resting at the top of the palate. Exhale through the nostril. That moisture, that cooling is one that which soothes and calms the mind, calms the body, cools the body. And anything that you do for you, you offer as a precious gift for baby. Of all the gifts we can offer a baby, it is this sense of calm, this sense of peace. Have a blissful rest of the day, and I look forward to practicing with you again. Enjoy cooling down with this wonderful and amazing breath work, Shitali and Shitkari.